A marvellous afternoon once again at the Sydney Football Stadium. A very good crowd here, high expectations. That have to travel here. St George, a little bit less to travel, but a lot of support from Wollongong coming up the highway.
Yes, these semi-finals and finals, even with the out-of-town teams taking part, they have been very, very good semi-final crowds, and this one is no exception for the preliminary final. Probably up in the area of 35,000. And here they come, the Steelers, led out by Dean Skiffeletti, hoping to repeat the semi-final dose that they handed down to St George here a fortnight ago. Riolo is still at the fullback position, Wishart and McIndoe the wings, Rodwell, McGregor the centres, Simon Neal the halves, Cross at the back of the scrum, Pinchinelli Dunn second row, Teitzel, Waddell front row, and Skiffeletti leads the side in the number 9 jump. And so St George led down the tunnel there by Michael Beattie, the man that Tony Ray and the Chief Executive Jeff Carr were talking about a few moments ago. They know what they did wrong in the semi-final. They'll be out there today to adjust the wrong and probably play the way they did against Newcastle. Intensity in defence, trying to block them out. Potter at fullback, Walford and Heron wings, Coyne, Beattie centres, Peter Coyne at 5'8", Goldthorpe the run on number 7, Hardy at lock, Goulet, Barnhill second, Tierney and Priddle up in the front row, and Collins is the hooker. Illawarra then running from left to right, and John Simon gets this sudden death final underway. Potter it is getting the first touch, beating the tackle of Waddell, and he's pulled down and tackled up there by Teitzel.
I'm looking forward to see who gets the best start here. Of course, when they met in that minor semi-final, St George got away courtesy of a Wayne Collins charge down kick to score the first points. Illawarra started like a house on fire last week against Brisbane. Came back to the field after 20 minutes. This first 20, very important.
Very good defence by the Steelers there on Tierney. Collins with a short ball. Priddle crosses the 22, beats the first line of defence and reaches 32. Collins away for Goldthorpe. Now to Peter Coyne onto the right boot. Ball bouncing down towards the quarterway line. Riolo picked up and driven back there by Goldthorpe. Neal a dummy half. Wishart folding in from his wing. Plenty of sting in the opening tackles. Waddell. Hard yards made by the front row forward.
There's a lot of sting in the tackles, but you've got to make sure that your enthusiasm doesn't override your technique. We've seen both Teitzel and Waddell come up with missed tackles because they've tried to take the man out. You've really just got to wrap the ball up, especially in these early periods. You don't want to concede early points.
Now it's Teitzel. Midway between 22 and halfway. 5 tackles gone against the Illawarra Steelers as they look for the boot now of John Cross. Little question mark on the tackle. Was it late? McCallum takes a look at both touch judges to see that they felt that it was okay.
Well, I thought he was hit late, John Cross. He makes the kick and Beattie came flying in like Superman and dead set knocked him down.
Heron goes away. Waddell is there to meet him. Collins. Barnhill chopping back in towards the play the ball area. They're on their own 22, St George. Goulet working in close to the ruck. Collins again. They come back to the blind and Tierney is there. Pulled down by Teitzel over the top and Waddell underneath.
He's had a marvellous final series so far, the captain for Illawarra. Dean Skiffeletti, a charge down there. A lucky rebound there for St George. Michael Neal got his hand to the ball. Potter's picked it up. Tries to regather. Finally wrapped up by Teitzel. I was talking about Skiffeletti. Really has done a lot of work out there in these opening minutes as St George continue to make some cracks in this Illawarra defence.
Mark Coyne making good yards for the Dragons. Collins for Goldthorpe now for Hardy out wide. Wrestling with John Cross and Bill Dunn. St George on the attack. 32 metres out from the line. Collins again. Barnhill on a big blind. Dunn coming over the top of John Simon. Collins, Goldthorpe coming right across the ground. Intercept taken by Teitzel. Good hands for a front row forward. Talking of front rowers, let's go to the sidelines to Blocker.
Well, it's obvious that St George think Illawarra are a bit weak up the middle. They're working very well from marker, but St George are taking on right in the middle of the ruck.
McGregor now, 7 metres short of the halfway mark. Waddell, he's been involved in nearly every set of 6 as far as hit-ups are concerned. Simon to play it. Neil is the acting half in 7. Bill Dunn in the headgear.
I thought Simon needed to pass the ball there, Ray. He beat the first defender, caught them by surprise, St George. They thought the ball had been wrapped up. The Skiffaliddi scoots out of dummy half, picks up Teitzel back on the inside. Illawarra now keeping the ball alive.
Simon put down by Collins. Skiffaliddi for Neil. Kicks for the outside men. Rodwell is going down the ground with McIndoe, but Potter, he wins the race. Oh, good effort by both players, McIndoe and Potter. Towed ahead. Walford might be trapped here. Walford's in trouble. Michael Neal can't get him. John Simon has a go, and it's a line drop out for the Saints.
Well, good work there from the Illawarra side. They got the boot to the ball. We do see a lot of penalties awarded in Winfield Cup football for this, but there was nothing wrong with that. He wasn't able to tackle player. I was critical of Ricky Walford for his chase back on the kick. I thought he left it all for Michael Potter. But Potter had got a bad bounce, and Walford didn't show a lot of intensity getting back, and he was finally wrapped up with John Simon coming through.
0-0 after 6 minutes then. Kick taken on the mark by Simon, and Cross goes back.
Well, they look good in Illawarra with this ball. They're giving it some air as well, turning the ball back inside on occasions, and they're catching the St George defence napping. St George's defence at this stage not moving up quick enough for mine.
Pincinelli. Skiffaliddi. Neil runs the angle back to the blind. Little gap presented itself there, but shut down by Hardy. Or Priddle it was. Now Skiffaliddi. Simon. Short ball for Teitzel. Stands and gets it away for Waddell. He goes in one side, comes out the other, gallops for the try line, but he's held up. Waddell to play it. Simon, Teitzel, Pincinelli, Wishart. Oh, a try has been bombed here.
Well, they've done everything but score there. I don't know how Waddell caught the ball in the first place, and then Neil Tini did a great job. Here we see tremendous work from Pincinelli. If Wishart catches that, he scores in the corner.
Now Goldthorpe. He's on the run around with his 5'8" Peter Coyne. Coyne opting to go himself back inside. Goldthorpe looks for the line. The ball bounces up okay for Riolo. Pushed back by the St George defence. Neil had to show good hands to take it. Rodwell forced back to his 10-metre line by Hardy. Neil finds Cross. Pulled down by Barnhill. He was the centre of a couple of controversial moments last weekend. David Barnhill. Wishart scurries in from the right wing and takes it out about 7 or 8 metres. 48 tackles required by the Steelers, 41 by St George. Potter. Neil and Pincinelli stop the fullback. 12 metres on his own side of the halfway. Goldthorpe away for Peter Coyne now.
Both kicking games haven't been that effective as yet, but one difference we've seen out there from Illawarra this weekend is they haven't gone to John Cross. It's been John Simon who's done the kicking. Skiffaliddi kicked out of dummy half then. But in their last semi-final appearance, John Cross took the first half a dozen kicks, and he isn't taking that responsibility on. They've left it to John Simon. That might be a good thing.
Now McCallum is going to call out one of the Illawarra side.
Skiffaliddi here for a swinging tackle coming over the top, Wishka, and it missed Tierney, and just as well it did.
There it is again. Tierney's not aware of it, but he was certainly very fortunate to miss it. Saints get the penalty, 2 metres on their side of the halfway. Beattie now taking the kick for line. And the tap kick will be taken 30 metres away from the Illawarra line. Collins, Goldthorpe, Barnhill. Pincinelli and Cross combined to stop him. play in the centre of the ground. Hardy works an angle with Beattie, but Beattie is wrapped up by Cross. Collins, Tierney stops and goes for a hit and spin play. Defence so far so good for Illawarra. Now Goulet injects himself into the blind side. Galthorpe feigns to kick. Wider for Peter Coyne. But Illawarra tackling like men inspired at the moment on their own 22 line. Galthorpe chancing the bomb. First use of the high ball. It came off the fingers of Priddle, I thought. Goulet puts it down. But referee McCallum goes back to the original breach that I called. It came, I thought, off the fingertips of Priddle.
Well, they were very fortunate, Illawarra. Nobody contested the football. They all thought somebody else. Look at this. The ball just bounces free. If Priddle had caught that one on the full, he'd have nearly scored. Eventually, Riolo tried to bat it out over the back, but nobody went up for the football. Nobody looked at the football for the Steelers.
Has he touched that ball or not? I don't think he did.
Galthorpe, Mark Coyne. Good defence by McGregor. Goulet. Walford, short ball. Galthorpe runs into Schifoletti.
They really are showing a willingness to move the football, St George. As soon as the kick goes in, they set a line to go wide. Goulet getting involved. He is offloading. That's what Steve Roach was talking about earlier. One of the big pluses out there is the big men who have got ball skills. There's another man who has him. Peter Coyne picks up Goldthorpe.
Goldthorpe is injecting himself into the play very much in this game. He's scheming, he's thinking, and he's working all the time. Peter Coyne puts it in the air again. Oh, Riolo, magnificent.
Well, that was a great take by David Riolo, but again, Illawarra did not show any urgency to get back and help him. Now, if that, I think it was Priddle going through, if he catches it, there was not an Illawarra player within 10 metres. He scores under the post. When they put this kick up, they've got to get back and help him.
Now, away from Neil. Teitzel stands and looks to get the ball around the corner. Dived on by Rodwell. 2 tackles left on this set. Pincinelli. Right on the halfway line. Simon. Driving it low. Potter's there to bring it back.
Well, it wasn't a great chase there as Michael Potter gets hit high by Michael Neal. Both Brett Rodwell and Rod Wishart thought that they were going to run the football on the last tackle. Simon decided to drive it in low. And there we saw once again St George looking to throw the football wide from the kick.
Yeah, from their kick returns, they are looking to throw that ball wide, but Peter, they're not getting enough bodies in the line. They get a couple more men out there on that first tackle, they could create some problems. Teeny's having a great game as well. He's offloading at will once he hits the line.
Barnhill now. Away from Collins for Peter Coyne. Priddle gets a short pass out. Hardy tries to turn it round the corner for Walford. Touched in flight by Illawarra. 6 more tackles for St George.
Needed one more player there, Saints. There was a big gaping hole.
Collins wrapped up by Michael Neal. He nullifies the tackle count again. Floating pass out for Goulet. Goulet to the 32-metre line. Chiming in Potter. Tierney plays his part. Beattie takes it to the quarter-way line. St George on the attack now. No points on the board. 20 minutes gone. Barnhill, hit and spin play. Goulet looks to do the same, but he's pulled down 15 away from the line. Collins a dummy half. Throws the dummy blind side. Goldthorpe on the open side. Held by Schifoletti. 12 metres out from the line. Right in front of the uprights. Collins went to sleep at dummy half. Peter Coyne inside. Hardy takes it back to the 10-metre line. 5 tackles gone now for the Saints. Collins works the blind. They stack the personnel on the blind side. Oh, Riolo does well again. That's a magnificent save by the diminutive fullback for Illawarra.
Not the first time he's been called upon, and this was a lovely little kick. It was going to bounce into the hands of Goulet, but there's Riolo coming flying in, got great position. He's taken the high ball now. He's taken one along the ground, and he saved a try again on that occasion.
Sidelines with Blocker Roach.
Illawarra committing the capital sin. You must put the St George big men on the ground. They're just being allowed to stand in tackles and offload willy-nilly.
Potter carries the line, drop out back over the halfway line. Bill Dunn is the tackler. Schifoletti coming in late over the top. Walford will probably go for a run. Able to unload for Goldthorpe. Let's go back to the sideline. Steve Roach.
Yeah, Brad Mackay coming on for David Barnhill, who had an impressive first 20 minutes.
Tierney offloads, but it's a forward pass.
And it was only a touch forward, and Brad Mackay would have scored with his first touch of the football. That's the man who replaced Barnhill. Wasn't much in this one at all. And that's what Steve again was talking about, the big men offloading.
Well, did that go forward? I don't know. It's hard to tell, isn't it? McCallum wasn't in the greatest position, but Saints have won one against the feed. Another set of 6.
They work the blind side. Ian Heron takes it to the quarter-way line. Wishart makes the tackle with Bill Dunn. Mackay dummy half. Now it's Tierney. He's the man that's causing most of the problems for Illawarra.
They've got big numbers out wide. Here's Waddell coming in. Fortunately, Rodwell has gone out there. It's been nullified to an extent. Hardy up the middle.
Now Goulet is way out wide. Out towards outside centre is Goulet. Collins. Goldthorpe goes himself. Comes back to the blind side. On the bounce taken by Mark Coyne. Pulled down 12 metres from the line. Saints dealing out all the pressure at the moment. This is the last tackle. They put it through the hands. Coyne finds Goulet. Then to Coyne. It goes to ground. Nakando had a chance there for the Steelers. No score after 22. Wide is Tierney. Potter now. Collins. St George building enormous pressure. Mackay. Collins. Scampers from dummy half. Hardy away for Walford. Walford puts it down for a 4-pointer. First points of the preliminary final go to the Dragons.
And deservedly so. They've been maintaining a lot of pressure down there. Illawarra had been able to hold them out for many minutes now, but it was a quick play of the ball and well-read in attack there from the dummy half who scooted out. Saw that he had a 3-on-2 overlap. There's Wayne Collins. He just takes advantage of that, gives it to Hardy. He draws McIndoe, and a very simple one to Ricky Walford. That's been coming for a while.
Yeah, they've been playing well, St George, giving this ball plenty of air and deserving the try. But Steve Waddell was the man who was slow up from the play the ball after making the tackle. That created the 3-on-2 situation, and McIndoe had to go in. Walford, he won't score an easy one all year. And Saints 4, lead Illawarra 0.
Just under 15 minutes of the first half remaining. Ian Heron right out on the sideline. 25 metres out. 96 points for the season. Big kick for him. That's what he's got. There it goes. Doesn't look too bad. Grazes the outside edge of the upright. No change in score. St George 4, Illawarra 0. Rodwell.
Not only told in that try being scored, but it may well come back late in the game. The fatigue starts to set in when you've had to do a lot of tackles in the first half. When the pressure's really applied late in the semi-final, that's when you can really feel the pinch. But this might be what Illawarra needs, the injection of someone like Craig Izzard. He took a great 15 metres there as McCallum signals the last, and they decide to go wide to Michael Neal, who puts the ball in behind Walford and finds touch.
Scrum will go down about 7 metres away from the St George line. Good kick by Michael Neal following an equally good run by Craig Izzard. Crowd probably up around the high 30s. Basking in the Sydney sunshine today. Scrum packing. Goldthorpe to serve it. 3-1 the scrums to the Saints. Walford comes off his right wing, takes the first pass. Brad Mackay being used mostly as an interchange player.
And he's a man on a mission today. Ray's been saying in the papers how disappointed he has been to be dropped out of the St George side the last couple of weeks. Jeff Hardy having been preferred to him. and he is a current Australian player, so he's looking for a big game today.
Collins made some good yards. Goulet capitalises on that.
And he capitalised because he got the quick play of the ball. They had 3 in a row there, and that enabled them to pick up another 20 easy metres. Goldthorpe will find touch again, and that's a magnificent set of 6 by the Saints. They made no mistakes coming out. They played the ball quickly. They got momentum, and it finished with a kick, finding touch 5 metres from the opposition's try line.
Nearly all too easy, wasn't it? Illawarra's defence, I don't know if it started to crumble, but the effort might be telling on them. If St George continue to control this ball like they have all match, then they could assert their authority very soon.
Michael Neal puts it in. Penalty goes to Illawarra. St George with more than the allowable number of backs. In other words, what the referee is saying, that the lock broke from the scrum too early. Simon finding the line. 4-0 in favour of St George. A try to Ricky Walford. Waddell able to make easy yards there. He almost ran the full 10 metres before he found the defence. Done. Simon. Cross. Tierney wraps him up right on the halfway line. From Skiffeletti now. Riolo at first receiver. Neal at second. McGregor at third. Saints' defence remains intense. 5 tackles gone. Neal puts it between Potter and Walford. Ball bouncing down into the end goal. Potter gets back into the field of play with no pressure. Walford.
The crowd thought that was an unusual play, but I like the show of confidence. If Ricky Walford had been able to beat one man, there was a lot of open space there. It wasn't a particularly good chase by the Illawarra team. Michael Potter showed a lot of confidence in his wingman, and I think that's showing in the team overall.
Here's Brad McLean. Goldthorpe. Triddle. Triddle trying to turn it back inside for Heron. Goldthorpe clearing kick off his own quarterway line. And Riolo comes off his own. Walford down the ground quickly. Riolo looks for McIndoe over on the flank. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Neal. McIndoe on the run around. $4-0 in favour of the Saints. John Cross pulled down right on the halfway mark. Izzard. Simon. Neal. Banged into the ground by Hart. 5 gone for the Steelers. Skiffeletti puts in the grubbing kick and finds the line. About 15 metres away from St George's goal line. St George leading 4-0 after 32. 5 minutes from the half-time break. Goldthorpe away, wide for Tierney. Look at this Tierney. Very strong man. Always takes 2 and 3 to bring him down. Hardy. Triddle. 2 tackles remaining for St George. Collins. That's the halfway line. Goldthorpe not looking for the touchline. Riolo 15 out from his own line. Pulled down just inside the quarter. Wishart for Neal. Rodwell wide. Peter Coyne came up very quickly. Wishart from dummy half. Pincinelli through 1. Out to the 32-metre line. Skiffeletti for Neal. Short ball done. Oh, jolting tackle. McIndoe was on the end of it. Neil chips for himself. Saints try to clean up, and Collins does that.
Here we see the little kick over the top. Michael Neal tried to grab it out of the air, and Wayne Collins deemed to have knocked it back. Comes up with possession just on the halfway line. 3.5 minutes left to go. I'd love to run in some more points late in this first half. Big call now for Illawarra. They must keep their line intact.
Triddle playing it on the halfway mark. Heron, pulled down by Dunn, and Wishart came in on a kamikaze mission. Goldthorpe, Peter Coyne, Goulet out wide, then slides the pass to Hardy. He does well too. Potter to play it. Goulet, Goldthorpe goes for the drop goal, but it'll be a mile wide and short. Riolo comes back. Plenty of confidence in the St George performance. Michael Neal.
Well, they're running hard, these St George forwards, but showing a lot of skill as well. Many offloads by players like Hardy and Goulet and Teeny, and with the quick men in support, Potter and Peter Coyne, Mark Coyne, they're looking very dangerous, St George.
They did set up some kind of authority in the middle of the ruck early on, Paul, and now they're taking advantage on the fringe of the rucks.
McGregor out wide. You can almost see the St George defence take on an air of urgency when the ball reaches the Illawarra centres. They haven't really given McGregor and Rodwell too many opportunities. Here's Illawarra coughing up possession. St George, I believe, will have it. They have. It was a turnover anyway. Goldthorpe, 25 metres out from the line.
And a big minute and a half coming up. They'll have the last set of 6 in this first 40 minutes.
Peter Coyne, Tierney, straight at them, just inside the 22. Collins, Goldthorpe, Coyne. Coyne has the ball jolted from his grasp. Neal dives on it for the Steelers.
Smart ball player, Peter Coyne, but he out-tricked himself then, out-tricked everyone, threw a million dummies and then just lost the pill.
Here it is again. He did, in fact, try to get it away to Goulet, but he waited to throw the ball until he was under pressure. He needn't have waited that long. The defence line was up on him anyway. Schifoletti. Just 1 minute of time remaining in the first half. McIndoe. These Illawarra wingers are probably going to have to do more work than they have done, particularly McIndoe. The forwards are probably feeling the strain and the pressure of the defence that has been asked of them. Potter's had a splendid game for St George. Heron just outside his own 22 line. This should be the last set of 6 before half-time. Walford put down 32 metres out. Collins. Brad Mackay. Saints quite happy just to play out this last couple of seconds. The siren in the background, and Riolo lets it go over the sideline. So that's the end of the first 40 minutes. Most entertaining first half. St George, they scored the only points. A try for Ricky Walford after the Dragons had built enormous pressure on Illawarra. And at the break, St George lead by 4 points to 0.
Well, he could have been our man in the match last week, couldn't he, Ray? Yeah, Peter Coyne was the 5'8", who got the man of the match last week, but Michael Potter was magnificent, and he's just the confidence that he exudes through the rest of the team. It's so good knowing that you've got a bloke back there as safe as Michael Potter has played all season.
And just looking at the hit-up situation, Neil Tierney, we talked about him, what a great first half. He had 10 hit-ups in the first half, a big effort.
So Peter Coyne starts the second half. Craig Izzard, the first of the Illawarra players, called on to bring it back. And they'll be looking to Get more space for Rodwell and McGregor and the wingers in the second half. And talking of that, what did the coaches have coming into it? Steve Roach.
Well, in the Illawarra room, there's only one change. Craig Teachell has come back on for Billy Dunn. Graham Murray wanted his players to make sure he puts the St George forwards on the ground and try and lay them on their back so they've got a bit more time to get in defence. Also, he'd like to see his players support the ball carrier a bit more. He was a bit unhappy with their kicking game and the slowness that they play the ball. But in the St George room, he was very happy, Brian Smith, with their kicking game. He also would like to see more pressure put on David Riolo and more support for the ball carrier and quick play the balls.
Michael Potter now. This is Mark Coyne coming away from dummy half. Shrugging off the first, but John Cross wraps him up. About 15 metres on his own side of halfway. Triddle. Illawarra in their first preliminary final. St George, they've won 15 grand finals. Collins, not too far short of St George's best in the first half. Goldthorpe, Peter Coy, off the left foot, charged down by Illawarra, picked up by Heron. 5 metres into Illawarra's area.
That's been ruled a 6 again for the St George team. So they've started the second half particularly well. They've had all the possession once again in this opening 2 minutes. With another 4 tackles left to go, they'll be able to put up a kick or have a good shot at this Illawarra team very early in the second half.
Tierney plays it. Collins for Goldthorpe. Now Triddle. Nothing happening there for St George at the moment. Have worked it back towards the centre of the ground. Now from the open side to the blind goes Mackay. 22 metres out. 5 tackles gone. Goldthorpe decides to push it wider to Coyne. He puts it in the air. They try out Riolo. Oh, he lost it. It came back to him off the posts.
Well, another great take from David Riolo in the end, but have a look at this one. The post was a real menace there. First it was his enemy, then it was his friend. It was the only reason the ball came back into his hands. And this is what Illawarra are looking for. The mistake down the other end, the ball just pops out there from Brad Mackay. Couldn't slip a ball to Heron, who was on the fly. Big scrum advantage there to St George 5-1. But this is an important one. Illawarra with the football, tackled 30 metres out. John Simon centre field.
Neil working it back to the right. Cross. Oh, the pass to Scufoletti. Look forward. Riolo slips out of a tackle from Goulet. He's brought down 22 metres out from the line. Wishart. Neil. Waddell.
They need to go back to the blind side here. Get set up. Both the centres for St George are caught on the one side.
Neil, he's read that play. Folded back towards the blind. Teitzel for Izzard. Izzard for Rodwell. It's forward. The crowd went up, but unnecessarily.
Well, I think that was a good call, Craig Izzard's final pass. This was good work from Teitzel. Picked up Izzard, gets a desperation pass away. The referee will look at him. He's in perfect position. Hard to argue with it. And St George get the scrum feed.
Coyne. McGregor and Rodwell putting the St George 5/8 down. 15 out from his own line. Walford comes away from dummy half. Crawls over the 22-metre line.
I really think Greg McCallum's had a marvellous match out there to the extent he's allowed play to flow. When there's been some niggly stuff around the dummy half area, people looking to milk a penalty, he's told them to get up and get on with it. And I think that's been marvellous. It's really helped this game out there to flow and be entertaining.
Tierney. Proving a problem for the Illawarra side. Collins the dummy half ago. Goldthorpe, should I say Coyne. Putting it down for Riolo. The bounce is bad for David Riolo. He falls over. That gave St George a chance to come even further down the ground to set up the defensive cordon. Wishart. Bumps away from 2. Beattie wraps him up. Skiffley. Pinchinelli. Right on the 32-metre line. Now Neil. Coming from right to left. Linking up with Izzard. Izzard throws the dummy to Rodwell. Takes it out to the 40-metre line. 4-0 in favour of St George. A try in the first half. Scored by Ricky Walford. Waddell. This is the last. Captain Skiffeletti charged down by St George. They recapture possession too, so... Well, now it's come back to Illawarra. But I thought Collins had the ball. Izzard for Neil. Pinchinelli. John Cross. 2 metres into St George's area. Illawarra starting to get a little sniff of it now. Skiffeletti shrugs off one. 42 metres out from the line. Tierney has gone off for St George in jumper number 10. Neil, long ball. Teitzel stands, turns it. Simon on the outside. Midway 22 halfway, and Illawarra trailing by 4. Teitzel again, his second hit up on this set of 6. 27 metres out, tackle number 5. Neil again on a big blind. Izzard, short ball for Rodwell. Can he unload? Wrapped up by the St George defence.
It seemed a very quick set of 6 there. The restart was counted again when St George struck out in the play of the ball. And it was a pretty ineffective set of 6 by the Illawarra team.
Well, they're going too much one out still. You know, they're hitting a one forward up, then another forward up without any support whatsoever. And St George's defence, to their credit, are putting the Steelers on the deck, as opposed to when St George have got the ball, they're being let stand in tackles.
Barnhill crosses the halfway mark. Goulet. Collins. Goldthorpe running across, puts on a play with Peter Coyne. He slides between Waddell and Teitzel, takes it to the 32. Knocked down by John Cross, and St George have come back with 6 more tackles. Here's a chance for the Dragons now. Already they lead by 4 points to 0. And we've had 9 minutes of the second half as Priddle goes ahead. The pass to Mackay, I thought, was forward. McCallum disagrees with me. 22 metres out from the Illawarra line. Hardy. Collins looking for which way to go. They pack the blind side. Goulet pulled down 12 metres out. St George an opportunity to put Illawarra away right here. Be a long way back for the Steelers if St George score next. Beatty out for Walford. Goes for the corner. Walford pulled down. Put into touch.
Yes, an opportunity there for the Saints once again, but what a magnificent pass from Michael Beatty. A beautiful floating pass as he was going to ground. Sensational. And Walford, there was more cover there than anything. No, there was about 8 of them coming over. Well, 2, and they put him into touch.
Neil using McIndoe as the first receiver. Steve Roach.
Yeah, David Walsh has replaced Craig Teetsall, and also a bit of news on Neil Tierney. He's got an injured left ankle.
And that's bad luck for Tierney because he's been one of St George's outstanding players, and I think if you ask the Illawarra side as a whole who's given you the most trouble, they'd probably say Tierney. Skiffeletti makes good yards, 15 of them.
What we've just seen lately is how important it is to get a flow of possession. You mentioned earlier, Ray, that Illawarra's just starting to get that little snip out there. That was because they had 2 sets of 6 in a row. We've just seen St George have that as well, and they've nearly run in another try down Walford's wing. So if you can get 2 or 3 sets of tackles in this competition, you are going to score points.
Neil dropping it onto the boot and finding the line right on the St George 22. 4 points to 0 after 50 minutes of the preliminary final. Just saw a pass there from Michael Neal, which I might explain a little bit more fully. He passed it backwards and then it bounced off its point and went forward. That does not constitute a forward pass. Some people concern themselves with that. This scrum is starting to erupt. He said it. Not careful, I'll send Fatty down there. You saw him last night in the big match. Oh, gee, you played strong.
Carved him up, Ray. Oh, still got it.
Very modest, too. Long ball now. Potter. 22 metres out from his own line.
He's got the greatest set of stud marks up the middle of his chest you've ever seen from people running over the top of him.
That wouldn't be from you.
Collins. Triddle. Oh, that's a good tackle by Waddell. Then there was a swinging arm in the tackle as he tried to clean it up.
And a penalty. Penalty to St George, and Priddle gives himself a round of applause. There's a good hit there by Waddell and a swinging arm in the tackle as well that missed. And then from here, the hand in the play of the ball by Skiffaletti, who's their captain. That's a bad mistake, really. St George under pressure now, 30 metres out from their line, struggling to get out of there and to give away another penalty as the captain is not on.
It's almost been the year of the cast-offs, hasn't it? Neil around the back for Riola. Wishart! Ooh, 38 metres out from the line. Neil, Simon, push left is on, Pinchinelli. Now, Izzard, inside ball, McIndoe. Rushes from one, Neil's in the centre of the park. Did he drop it onto his boot? Walsh comes away with the ball.
Yeah, a little kick there and 6 to go.
Pinchinelli now, back to the centre of the park. They got a chance out wide. Rodwell gets it away for Wishart. Heron and Wishart. Wishart gets inside him, loses the footing. 15 out from the line. Rodwell for Neil. Neil to the 10-metre line.
Back to blind. There's no centre there. The wingers only just gone from mark, but they've come the open. Waddell.
Inside ball for David Walsh. Stands and looks to pop the ball. St George have got it, I think.
Yes, one of those passes that didn't need to be thrown. It wasn't the last. They didn't have to keep it alive. Just pushed it too much. I said if they had to go back to blind, I thought that was the case. As Craig Izzard leaves the field, he had an impact out there while he was there. It's like he might be carrying a bit of an injury. It's Mackay takes a great catch. Slips catch almost in behind him. St George now looking to get out of trouble once again.
Just getting back to that rush of attack, though. I can't believe McIndoe kicking. I thought he had Michael Neal on his inside unmarked.
Well, we saw him do that in the game here earlier in the semi-finals, didn't we? When we thought that he could have beaten the man on the outside. But that wasn't last tackle either, just said Ray. And he had a man unmarked on the inside. It seemed a bad option to take once again.
Collins gets it back. Triddle, Goldthorpe, now Potter. Steve Roach.
Every time Illawarra ventured to spread the ball a bit wide, they've made some good breaks. They might do better to take a few up in the centre of the ruck and then decide to shift it.
David Riolo.
I also think that their inside backs have got to look to be a little bit creative for the two centres out there, McGregor and Rodwell. I think John Simon, again, I've talked all year about runarounds and that, but they're not really doing anything to open something up for them. The Skiffaletti picks up
Wishart, one to beat, picks up Neil, won't have the pace, reaches the 22 and pulled down. Simon, Skiffaletti, Simon again. 12 metres from the line. Skiffaletti, open side, McGregor. 8 metres out, 5 tackles gone. Will they go to the air? Pinchinelli's with the ball. Floats it out, it's gone over the touchline.
That's a little bit of semi-final inexperience coming out in the Steelers now, not working for anything. The ball should have gone to the air, but instead it went into touch. Went to the right wing.
Went to the air, all right.
Yeah, went to the air.
Goulet's off for St George. Neil, Bill Dunn. Super game last weekend in a beaten side. But I agree with Paul Vorton's halftime comments. I got the feeling that Pinchinelli and Dunn hadn't done enough. John Cross finds a half gap. Pulled down on the 40-metre line. Neil, Walsh, taken by Hardy, stands in the tackle, offloads for Pinchinelli. Rushes away now from Mackay, gets into open space. Well, for a bloke with a bad knee, he's not travelling all that badly. Michael Neil pulled down, 30 metres out from the line. The Steelers starting to roll it now. Skiffaletti, long ball, Rodwell, there's danger. McIndoe rakes it back, into touch. St George feed and loose head. Scoreline, 4-0 in favour of St George in the preliminary final.
This will be an Illawarra feed. The ball has been ruled to come off the St George player, so another opportunity for the Steelers.
Neil, Simon, McGregor. Now they're in the centre of the park. St George's forward still getting across into position, so they've got to go to the right. Riolo's with it, but Illawarra's got no backs out there apart from Wishart. Neil puts Simon through a gap. Simon's 10 metres out. Right in front of the sticks. Skiffaletti. Michael Neil. Neil Pinchinelli. Short ball from McGregor. McGregor away for Rodwell.
Oh, forward.
Now it's a forward pass. Another try denied for the Steelers.
Well, they've had no luck, the Steelers. That's what their second or third try disallowed. Beautiful pass, that one to McGregor into the gap. And this pass here's been ruled forward. I don't know. I don't think it looked too bad, Sterlo.
Well, again, you've got to put that in the trust of the referee because he's at the top of the right of screen there and he's in good position. Very hard. We're on a bad angle here. That's Tony Smith, the replacement player, on for Peter Coyne. But gee, you wouldn't, with the chances Illawarra have got and had, you wouldn't think they'd still be on zero.
22 metres out from the line. Dummy half is Skiffaletti. Waddell turns it inside to Walsh. Walsh gets it back inside for Skiffaletti. Out to the right for Simon. Wide ball for Pincinelli. Pincinelli comes to Heron. Gives it to Wishart. Oh, tremendous tackle out there by Heron. Now Neal. Simon to the 10-metre line. Skiffaletti. Now from cross it goes to McGregor. Put down behind Waddell. Picked up by Walsh. 20 metres out from the line. Skiffaletti. Bill Dunn. Dunn standing. Lost the ball behind him. Play on, says McCallum. Walsh a dummy half, a horror pass. McGregor, he puts it into the end goal, and Potter is there to clean it up. Back in the field of play, I do point out.
The class piece of play there from McGregor to firstly pick the ball up. It went to the wrong man. He got the little kick in on the last, but Michael Potter got through and was able to keep in the field of play, and that was a magnificent effort. Really think that if there'd have been another set of six, they'd have been doing well to hold on, St George.
Good to see Dunn and Pincinelli really coming into their own now. They're both skillful, hard-running players, and they're getting this Illawarra side going forward.
They've got to score soon, don't they? I think if it comes down to the last 10 or 15 or 10 minutes, I think St George can hold on. A lot of juice being burned up by Illawarra out there, and they're not getting a result.
Goldthorpe looking for the line. He won't find it. Riolo coming off his own quarter-way line. Gets around Walford.
Well, that's really his bad wing play. You've got to, when you're in a chase situation, you've got to keep one person between the player and the sideline, and Walford just went into it too quick and too early.
McIndoe to play the ball right on the halfway mark. Waddell away for Neal. Walsh out wide. Pincinelli wider. Cross is out even wider again. The forwards forming the back line. Cross gives it back to Pincinelli. Pincinelli tackled 3 metres into St George's area. 4-0 in favour of the Saints. Illawarra having the better of the second half, though. St George's defence has been superb. Skiffaletti. Neal. Turning it back to the right. Pincinelli. McGregor. McGregor gets it to Wishart. Wishart's away. No support. Scooped away to John Simon.
Six again. He hasn't seen it, John Simon. He's given the ball and kicked it. Wayne Collins, or is it Potter? Potter's picked it up, but the referee had signalled six again. John Simon did not realise.
Well, Nick Potter, what about Rod Wishart, one-on-one? A beautiful tackle it was, a try-saver. And then he's taken the ball out another 15 metres.
Walford. Thought that might have been it. Wishart had one to beat. He's had an outstanding game today. Priddle. 35 out from their own line. Collins.
And Pincinelli is the man who's causing all sorts of problems for St George out wide, but I still don't think that the players around him are going to the defence enough and committing the player. St George sliding in defence. It was only Heron coming in off his wing there that allowed Wishart to the outside.
Henjack. Barnhill. 35 metres out from the line. Hardy working on a wide blindside. 5 tackles gone for the Saints. Collins sweeping it away for Goldthorpe. He goes for the 1 point. And over the dead ball line it goes, so back to the 22 for the restart.
Well, I think that's a ridiculous play. Going for 1 point there puts them 5 in front. It brings the play all the way down the other end and a chance of a mistake being made. They can't go for 4 goal, 4-0 up.
Unbelievable. Brian Smith, he would be dead set filthy about that. I mean, all you've got to do is put the ball in the in goal or put one up, give yourself a chance to score a try. Inexperienced by Goldthorpe, who has had a fine match for them.
Simon. This is probably the area where Illawarra, to my way of thinking, lacks something, and that is a little bit of zip in the halves area.
They miss Ian Russell and Dale Fritz. Ray, as Skipperletti comes up with a bad mistake there. They need someone creative in there. Michael Neal works the place down, but John Simon, I don't think, has offered them anything apart from a kicking game and a fair defensive game.
Coyne, 5 metres on his own side of the halfway. Saints by 4-0. 7 3/4 minutes to go. Timeout.
And Mark Coyne, I think, has copped another one on his nose there. Look at that bugle. Would put Jimmy Durante to shame, that one.
Steve.
Early in the commentary, I don't know if Sterlo will agree with me, but the halves for Illawarra, they're too slow through their hands. They take a couple of steps before they pass the ball. If they're going to get it out to their experienced players, Rod Bull, they've got to get it out there fast.
Well, I do agree that they have to get the football out there, but I also think that they have to try and put something on for both Rodwell and McGregor. At the moment, they've had to do it all themselves. They're running into a lot of defence out there, and when Piccinelli has gone out and done something for them, they've been able to capitalise, and we've seen a couple of near tries as St George getting that roll on now. And we saw Wishart nearly score the try, and it's only because someone was able to work something out wide for them.
Goldthorpe. Good kick by Noel Goldthorpe, finding the line 5 metres out from the Illawarra line. 4-0 in favour of St George. Well, 6 3/4 left. 9-5 the scrums to St George. One of them against the head. Wishart. He's tried his guts out today, Wishart.
Well, the whole Illawarra team haven't they, Ray? They're not out of this game yet as McIndoe takes the ball forward once again. Now, they'll look back on this game if they have lost the game. They'll look back and think that, well, gee, they were unlucky. A couple of, well, I think, we've had 2 or 3.
It's been a game of missed opportunities for them. They could have put 14, 16 points on the board. But St George have played very well. 2-on-1 situation down here.
Here's a big run down the ground by Rodwell. Pulled down by Goldthorpe.
Super duper tackle by Goldthorpe.
Let the ball go now. They've got numbers out wide if they can get past Skipperletti.
Skipperletti wide for Simon. They've got the numbers on the right. Simon lets it go. It's gone backwards, but has slowed down the attack. Wishart decides to kick and chase. Right across the ground, and Goldthorpe comes up with it.
They'll slow down the attack. If the pass from John Simon finds a man on the full, I think that they score. They had 4 players out there to 2, and it was just a bad pass. It had to find somebody on the full.
Simon. McGregor. Well, Illawarra need a big run from McGregor, and he was giving it to them. 32 metres away from their own line. Simon is the dummy half. They call it blindside, but it goes open. Neal finds Piccinelli. Then he finds Big Billy Dunn. Dunn pulled down 8 metres short of the halfway mark. 3.5 minutes to go. Simon across the face is picked up by John Cross, and Michael Beattie comes in and makes a smother tackle.
Yeah, Beattie special. Great tackle.
Craig Izzard. Paul McGregor. Brett Rodwell. 5 metres into St George's area. The last minute's coming up here. 3 minutes, in fact, to go. 5 tackles gone for the Steelers. 1 try in the game. Simon across the face. Rodwell inside for Izzard. Back for Simon. Simon shows it. Gets away from 1. Kicks ahead. Was he pulled down late? I'm watching. Here's a chance for McIndoe. McIndoe dives. I think he might be going to give it, is he? No try.
Oh, no. Unbelievable. Another missed opportunity. Here's the go. No, it looks, well, we can't tell from that angle. There were hands everywhere.
John Simon, I thought for a moment he might have been pulled down after he kicked it.
No try.
And a good decision there made by the in-goal touch studs. They finally got one right.
Simon, they kick on the first. The fullback was standing shallow. Heron leads the race for the ball by 10 metres. Riolo comes down the park. Heron around Riolo. taken just beyond his own 22-metre line.
Well, I would have certainly played out the 5 or 6 tackles before putting in that. That was desperation stakes. I know there's only a couple of minutes remaining, or under a minute now, but as soon as they put that kick in, that was the end of their chances. All the same, Illawarra fans, they can be very happy, very proud of their club this year. Into the semi-finals for the first time, advancing to the final, and it's been a great performance by them.
25 seconds to go. Coyne put down 32 metres out from his own line. St George marching on to the grand final to meet the Brisbane Broncos. Henjack wrapped up. Now there's 5 seconds to go.
Well, he better get up, or it'll cost his side a penalty.
Collins puts the ball over the sideline. The siren sounds in the background. And St George, they go to the grand final. Broncos versus Dragons coming up in 7 days. Spare a thought for the Steelers, though. A gallant performance in defeat. And what a year it's been for them. So next Sunday, Brisbane to play St George. Reserve grade will be Norths versus Balmain. And President's Cup, St George will play Western Suburbs.